Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining. My name is Bian, and I'm going to be your host today. Before we start, I want to remind everyone to ask any questions as we go, and applications are now open and close April 30th. We have special guest Jennifer Hayman today, Senior VP of Marketing and Communications here at Ann Arbor SPARK. Jennifer, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. SVP of Marketing, Communications, and Events at Ann Arbor SPARK, and have been involved in various ways with the Digital Marketing Clinic for many, many years.
We're very happy to have you. All right, so I'm just going to jump right into the questions here. First question is, tell us a little bit about yourself. Looking back on your career journey, what are the most important pieces of advice you would give to anyone starting out?
Well, my journey has taken a bit of a strange route. I worked in marketing roles in a number of industries, through different applications in technology. I've been in academic publishing. I was with Zingerman's for almost 5 years, so that was a really cool experience. Working with really, really, really creative folks and eating tons of great food. So that was definitely a highlight. I would say if you are starting out, a really, really, really good piece of advice that I think is important is to just be open to all experiences. So marketing can mean so many different things, and there's so many different sort of places to go in your career with marketing, whether it be digital or content or strategy, or you can get really technical on um, running the digital ads and, the analytics and diving deep into those sort of things. So it's important, I think, to sort of try your hand at a lot of different things and being really open to those experiences so that you see what resonates with you, and more importantly, what doesn't, so that you can then kind of, sort of focus your career goals a little bit more as you go further and further down the stream.
Yeah, that was really nice advice because, since I'm also a marketing major, in my sophomore year, I couldn't figure out where should I go or what kind of, marketing do I like. But now I feel like since I'm more like outgoing and outspoken, I feel like I'm more into like those content and also like sales. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I would also suggest to our viewers to if you are a marketing major, definitely try to explore and then get open to all the experiences like Jen said.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you might be really good at numbers. You might really love spreadsheets and data. And, those people that are really good at that are really, really important. I'm not one of those people. And so I really appreciate people that love to dive deep into data and can make sense of it and help inform, how you need to modify your campaign or what to do next. And, instead of just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, which I think is what we all kind of do at some point, right? I mean, you have to start from something, but then you have to be able to look at the results and understand what the data is telling you so that you can make those next decisions. And so you might be somebody that's really into that, or somebody that loves writing, or somebody that's really creative and loves graphic design. So there's so many ways to be a marketer, which I think is the most interesting part of the field.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that. So the next question would be, in your opinion, what are the unique strengths and advantages of the Digital Summer Clinic's approach to career development?
Yeah, I am such a huge advocate of this program, and I tell everybody I know with college age kids about it. I think it's so unique because, well, first off, you get an opportunity to be placed with Sparks tech startups. So you get to interact with these companies when they're at a really interesting time in their own kind of like company life, right? They're early stage. They need help. They need help in a lot of different like foundational ways. So it might be that you're helping them spin up their website or come up with their social media messaging or a content strategy or whatever it is. So there's so many different ways that you can contribute. And I think that that's really important too, because when you work for a really small company like that is open to ideas and that is embracing internship talent and all of that, then what should happen and what does happen in this clinic is that you come away with like actually real experience that you can apply in your career going forward. It's not just that you got somebody coffee or you sat in on these meetings. No, you are really contributing to what essentially is their bottom line and whether they're going to thrive or fold. So the interns in this program play a really, really important part in that. And so I love that aspect of it. I also think that there are so many opportunities within the internship, both formally and informally, to build on your own personal network. And that's so important because who you get to know, and if you're open to just, maybe you meet somebody at an event and say, hey, I would love to get coffee and just pick your brain about, your career, what you do. And, those are really important connections to make. And people are happy to share their time. And you just have to ask. You just have to ask. And I think that so many people, really want to help people that are early in their careers. They want to share their experiences. They want to learn from other people about, what they're experiencing and what their goals are. So just the networking that comes out of it. I mean, it's been proven, with the many years that the clinic has been running these internships, that people come out and they get placed in jobs at such a high rate. I don't know what the percentage is. I'm sure Bud could tell you that, but it's always really, really impressive. I think the coaching that happens in that, from the actual marketing skills and being placed at the companies, is just as important as the report outs that you guys do to the rest of your cohort. You get up and you talk about the progress and what you're working on with those companies, and gaining that confidence to get up in front of your peers, who I think are the hardest people to present to. I mean, I get far less nervous if I'm talking to a huge group of people that doesn't know me, and it could be a huge group, versus, people I work with or my own peers, that will make me so much more nervous. And so I think that that's a really, really good skill to continue to build.
I think out of all the people we've spoke to, everyone comes back to networking. And I think with this internship, that's one of the key things that it provides to all of the interns.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, because you're not just internal with that company. If you get an internship at another company, then, I mean, it might be an excellent experience in that, like, you learn something and you get to contribute, but you're really kind of siloed with that company. Whereas with the digital marketing clinic, you have the opportunity to really socialize with all of the companies that are involved in it, and learn from your peers of, the work that they're doing with this company or that company. And so it's a much broader kind of scope, I think, of what you get access to.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. All right, so last question we have for you today is, what are some current trends or changes in the workforce that you believe will have a significant impact on career development for the future?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I think there's so much that's being figured out, and I think that there's so much right now that is in flux of, everybody went remote, of course, right? For a while, not everybody, but a lot of roles went remote. A lot of marketing roles for sure went remote. And then, then the pendulum sort of swings back. And so a lot of folks are being brought back into the office, or, maybe you're early in your career and you've never worked in person before and you've always been remote. So then there's skills, I think, that you need to focus on to, some of, not really office etiquette, but, just being in person is a very different experience of managing your time, of not being distracted, of, making connections with people in the company and putting yourself out there to build those relationships in person. I think there's a huge value to being in person that provides. And if somebody is new to that and they've really only ever been working remotely, then that's definitely something that would be a change for them. So I think we're seeing a big shift like that, where people are either transitioning from only remote to hybrid or to in-person. And they're just different ways to work. And then there's so many different tools that we all use to communicate. At Spark, we're heavy users of Slack, which I love. And so it's easy, like, even when we're all in the office, it's easy just to, like, chat about something, or, clarify something on what you're working on, or get a quick answer from somebody. But there's a lot of times where you just need to, walk over to somebody's desk and have a conversation, or, pull people into an in-person meeting, or actually look at something physical together, maybe whiteboard it together. And so I think that having flexibility of the way that you work and how you interact with folks, I think, is probably the biggest shift that people are feeling along different points in that spectrum.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think after COVID, the whole world just totally shifted. So everyone is still trying to adapt to it and get used to the new ways that we currently live in.
Yeah, and some of it starts to become norm. I mean, everybody's so used to Zoom now, so that's not a new thing. Everybody's really used to sort of, I think, sharing, using some of the collaborative platforms that are available digitally and in different ways. But I think some of it's still being optimized, and there's still pros and cons to all of it. So I personally, for myself, I really like a hybrid work environment. I like going into the office and seeing my coworkers, and there's certain things that are just better suited for that. But then there's also times where what I need to be productive, that I need like a dedicated home space with nobody around and just focus and no distractions. And so it just depends on the kind of work that you're doing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like the hybrid thing is definitely something that needed to be done sooner.
Yeah.
All right,
And
let's
it provides a lot of flexibility for people's lives, which is really nice.
yeah, most definitely. All right, so we have a couple questions. The first question is from Bud. What is she most excited about for the Spark annual meeting on April 30th?
Thanks for that plug, Bud. So Ann Arbor SPARK's annual meeting is on April 30th at Eastern Michigan University's Student Center, which is a gorgeous space. We go back there time and time again because we love it, and the team is great to work with. What I am most excited about is we're going to be doing a look back on our 20 years of our contributions to the region. And so instead of a keynote this year, we actually have our incoming board chair, Kelly Sexton from University of Michigan. She is going to moderate a panel with 4 of our past Spark board chairs. And they're going to talk about, what it was like in the early days and how Spark started and how the ecosystem has changed, and what they're seeing in entrepreneurship and what they're seeing in economic development around the region that's different from their time there, and how they're still involved. So I think that's going to be a really, really interesting discussion. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That sounds really fun. All right, so next question and also the last question is what is the new thing she most wants to accomplish at Spark in the coming year?
Oh, this is a year, I think, of experimentation for us in a lot of different ways. There's a couple things. So we are really excited to be working with the city on an initiative called the Green Business Challenge. This is something that we're doing in partnership with the Office of Sustainability at the city of Ann Arbor. It's part of the A20 initiative. And so that's something kind of near and dear to a lot of our hearts of, building sustainable practices into businesses, giving them tools to do that are reasonable for them to accomplish, and recognizing those efforts. So I'm really excited about that. We're just in the very beginning of kind of planning what that looks like, but that's going to be keeping me pretty busy throughout the summer. So I'm super excited about that because it's kind of a new place for us to sort of play around. And then the second thing is we have A2 Tech 360. That's going to happen in September 20th through 27th. And it's always a great series of events. So it's a week-long series of different events. And we try to change it up every year. It should never get stale. It should always be relevant. It should always change and adapt to what the current trends are, what are the topics that people want to discuss across all of the different events within the series. And we have some really fun plans this year that I can't speak to now, but we have a new, she started in January, so I should stop saying that she's new, but we have a new-ish director for A2 Tech 360, and she is just coming to the table with some fantastic ideas and really unique perspective on things and kind of changing things up. So we're trying to just keep an open mind and take an experimental approach to it and see what works and what we want to carry forward and add as much value as possible for the folks that participate and attend those events.
That sounds very exciting. Hopefully that all works out smoothly for everyone.
Yes.
All right, before we head out, I want to thank everyone for watching our last digital live for this semester. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow all of our social media platforms so you don't miss out on anything. And also don't forget to submit your applications because they close on April 30th. It was nice talking to everyone.
Thank you.